Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to make some changes in your car seated position to make it so the piriformis ache that you're feeling dissipates. Hey everyone, I'm Sebastian at Performance Way Sports Care, part of the locally world-famous chiropractors in Costa Mesa, California. Obviously, I'm not doing this video in a car, but the same principles will apply, and most of you will have pretty good success with this, I believe. Obviously, if you're having problems with this area, if it's newer, this may not work for you because it's just too soon. If you've had this for a long time, you may have other complicating factors. Usually in the middle, at just a couple weeks or a month is just right. Obviously, if you're having other problems associated to your condition, such as groin pain or side of the thigh or hamstring, side of the thigh, low back, and so on, you may have other wrinkles onto this problem, which makes it, I don't want to say more complicated, but it's not as simple as making the same modifications that someone with only buttocks piriformis pain would. So if you guys are looking for more specific things to do, you can always reach out to us directly and we can give one-on-one recommendations. Or if you want to learn more about all these other parts and figure out why they're part of your condition, we have a link to a webinar in the corner which may help you learn a little bit more about that. So let's get on to it here. So the first thing to understand about the mechanics of sitting in a chair, in your car seat, is going to be what provokes your problem. And so for most people dealing with this tightness here, especially if you're under the age of, say, 55, most of the time what bothers people is one of two things. It's either having the leg out far and having the knee extended while having the toes up, or it may be arching the back excessively. And there's a few reasons why this may happen when driving. This is going to be my firewall right here, so we have my pedals. I'm going to use my left foot as the pedal just so you cameras can see. But I know that when I'm in traffic, sometimes where there's people moving in and I'm a defensive driver, and so I'm always hovering with my foot up. It's not on the brake, it's not on the gas, it's just hovering. And so doing this, actually, if you do it, you'll feel your quad and your back just start to tighten up a little bit. Now imagine doing this for the full duration of like an hour drive. It's a lot, all right? And it generally hurts, especially if your problem is on the pedal leg. All right, so in America, it's going to be right leg. For a lot of the other countries, it's going to be left leg. All right, in that scenario, there's some slight changes you can make to make it so you're not always in this attentive position. First thing you can do is you change where you're actually positioned in the seat. You can use the wheel, or you can use this area between right here to push yourself back, wedged into the seat. What this does is it attaches you better to the seat, and it makes it so your hip flexors don't have to work so hard to hold you up. And so then you can do a little bit better pedal job just by doing a little bit more from here versus the remainder of you. The other thing you can do too is you can move your seat a little bit or move your pedals. Some cars have a pedal position change. Now imagine that I'm actually in traffic here, and I'm having to brake a lot, but I'm not having to gas a lot. All right, just move the pedal that you're working with the most into a position where your foot is kind of slackened on it versus being so attentive away from it. I know my father's car, when I drive it, the pedal, if it's all the way pushed up towards me, I kind of got to go like this the whole time versus just being a little bit more slackened. Okay, so that's the first thing, is maybe change the pedal position. The second thing is you can change the seat position, right? Obviously it can't affect where your wheels are. The other thing you can do when driving on the highway is set cruise control. That really helps out, so you can rest your legs into whatever position that you want to. The last thing you can do is actually you can use something like a backing. And this will work more in a scenario where the actual seat is actually longer than your thighs. This chair is okay, all right? My knees, if they were to be sweating, they would not actually sweat and touch the fabric. So you generally want to have a little bit of space right here. Not all car makers make it specific to your height. And so what you can do is you can slightly change that scenario by adding a backing, aka moving the backing closer to you. And so just take a note of like how far I am from the seat here. And if I put this just here, and it's got to be high enough to where it supports your whole spine, it actually gives me quite a bit more room, all right? And this doesn't change this part, obviously, but for those of you who are actually having pain associated with having this leg cocked up, which most people will that have this problem, what it does is if you imagine there's a cushion right here, my leg is always kicked up if the cushion's too long. So if I can give myself a little bit of space there and put the backing in, you actually have more bend in your knee, okay? So there's really no magic about the backing of this, or the lumbar support in that scenario, but it helps out to bring your knee into a slackened position. Okay, if you want a little bit more information about why these work, investigating things like Slum's test or SLR for things like nerve root impingement, which a lot of times creates piriformis-like symptoms, actually may bring some nice information to your forefront. If you guys want information about how we can help you and give these slight modifications or other exercises and stretches that make it so these overall become less temperamental anyways, reach out to us. Our link is in the description below. You can set up a consultation and we can tell you if we can take your case or not. Generally speaking, these things tend to come back a little bit. Most of you watching this video, you probably said, well, I've had this problem like over the past 10 years about 3 times. Yeah, generally things do come back. Good management of a condition really comes down to managing pain quickly as possible with slight modifications of day-to-day tasks. And you can actually improve the way your body functions and decrease how quickly it returns and the intensity by things like stretches, exercises, good daily habits, and so on. So it really comes down to what your specific reason is. That's why an assessment needs to be performed most of the time. So if you guys are looking for help, reach out to us. We'd love to help you. Very least, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have our channel has a search bar. You can search anything that you want to on the search bar, including different conditions of the hip, torso, low back, foot, ankle, and so on. We'll see you next time on YouTube.